Is Ice Station Zebra my favorite movie of all time? No. But it was for Howard Hughes, apparently. More on that later. This is the third and last of the Alistair MacLean movie adaptations I'll be talking about. Ice Station Zebra is all about the great What's-It, the great MacGuffin, as it were, which is the retrieval of a roll of film from a spy satellite that has accidentally photographed both Russian and American missile silos. The satellite's film canister was ejected over the North Pole, and it lands close to Ice Station Zebra, a civilian weather station that is studying cosmic rays and the rotation of the Earth. But all is not what it seems. A fire has broken out at the station, and people have been killed. The game is most definitely afoot, and the race is on, as both Russia and America publicly announce a joint rescue mission, which brings us back to Howard Hughes. Did he or any one of his companies have anything to do with the making of this film? I don't know, but he was once a Hollywood producer and had deep contacts within the defense industry, amongst other places. Or maybe he just liked the movie. But a few short years later, there was the Glomar Explorer business. That was the name of a deep-water mining ship that Hughes had built and was later used by the CIA to raise the remains of a sunken Russian missile sub off the ocean floor. Unfortunately, the sub broke on the way up and they lost almost all of the intel they were looking for. I first saw Ice Station Zebra at the great Loews Capitol Theater in Manhattan, the same theater where just a few months before I had seen 2001. Director John Sturges made two of the greatest action-adventure movies ever, and the idea of helming a big-budget roadshow presentation must have been appealing for any number of reasons. It's been reported that Rock Hudson stormed out of the premiere of 2001: A Space Odyssey saying he didn't know what the movie was about. A not uncommon reaction at the time, but perhaps something else was at work here. It's also been reported that the opening of Ice Station Zebra was delayed as nervous MGM executives rushed 2001 into its premiere showcases. Oddly enough, both films were some of the last of the roadshow attractions of the 60s. Ice Station Zebra looked pretty impressive on that giant Cinerama screen. The miniature work of the sub traveling under the ice cap looked great, and in some shots, it almost looked real. And when the Russian MiGs zoomed at us on that giant Cinerama screen, we went, okay, that doesn't look real, but it sure looks great. The same can be said for the Ice Station Zebra set itself. Now, back in the day, Jim Brown got killed in all of his movies. In Rio Conchos, he gets blown up. In The Dirty Dozen, he gets shot, making for the end zone. He scores anyway when seconds later the Nazi chateau blows up behind him. And in Dark of the Sun, he gets stabbed in the back with a bayonet, and the front of the blade pierces his chest in a scene that shocked the hell out of me back in 1968. In the same year, in Ice Station Zebra, he dies a stupid death at the hands of Patrick McGoohan and the screenwriters. All through the movie, he's being set up as sort of a red or black herring. Is he or isn't he? Turns out he isn't, which is a problem, because we've been digging on Patrick McGoohan's cool guy, spy guy routine all through the movie, so when he mistakenly shoots Jim Brown, we think he's an idiot. Yeah, I know, he's been knocked out by that commie bastard Borgnine, but this just isn't playing in Peoria. So what's really going on here? An on-set huddle, perhaps, between director and star. The movie tries to keep us in the dark by pretending to keep Rock Hudson in the dark, until later in the film when all is revealed in a major exposition dump. It's Patrick McGoohan's big scene, he's got all the best lines, and he runs with it, while Rock Hudson reveals that he really knew everything all along. Really? When did that happen? Meanwhile, Ernest Borgnine's running around saying, I'm the one with the Oscar, and I'll chew as much scenery as I please. Now, even as a teenager, I thought Ernie was way over the top in this movie. And back then, I was a big fan of McGoohan because of the Secret Agent and Prisoner TV series, But having watched Ice Station Zebra more times than I care to publicly admit, I find that I'm enjoying Ernie's antics more than McGowan's. And as for Rock, well, he's solid. He's got a few good lines and lots of good close ups, especially in the third act when he realizes it's his movie again. See that? Looks good, doesn't it? You know why? It's the contrast between flesh tones and the blue background. Television news and talk shows caught on to that real quick when television went color full time, back in the day. That's just a bit of boomer trivia for you. See you around the campus.